Qarmaq. For permanent settlement in the harsh Arctic, Inuit and Thule peoples built homes partially underground. These structures used the earth itself for insulation. A frame of whalebone or driftwood would be erected over a shallow pit, then covered with stone and thick layers of sod. This created a low-profile home highly resistant to wind and cold. A cold trap entrance tunnel, built lower than the main floor, ensured that warm air stayed inside. This design was a sophisticated, long-term solution for Arctic survival. Igloo. The igloo is a separate, specialized structure used as a temporary hunting shelter. It is a masterpiece of engineering, a self-supporting dome built from blocks of compressed snow. The snow acts as an excellent insulator, and the dome shape is incredibly strong. A strategically placed ventilation hole and the same cold trap entrance design as the permanent houses keep the interior surprisingly warm, often heated by just body heat and a small lamp. It is a brilliant example of creating shelter from the only material available. Plank house. The peoples of the Pacific Northwest, like the Haida and Tlingit, built massive, permanent homes called plank houses. These were large, rectangular structures made from the abundant cedar trees of the region. They featured heavy post and beam frames and were covered in hand-split cedar planks. A key feature was the elaborately carved house posts and totem poles, which displayed the clan's history, status, and crests. These were not just homes, they were powerful statements of family lineage and artistry. Wigwam. Used by many Algonquian peoples in the Northeast and Great Lakes regions, the wigwam is a dome-shaped dwelling. It was built using a frame of bent young trees, or saplings, which were anchored in the ground and tied together at the top to create a strong, curved structure. This frame was then covered with sheets of bark, woven mats, or animal hides. Unlike the portable tipi, the wigwam was a more stationary home, ideal for the woodlands of the region. Longhouse. The Longhouse was the traditional home of the Haudenosaunee, or Iroquois Confederacy. As its name suggests, it was a very long, narrow structure that housed multiple families from the same clan. They were built using a frame of wooden poles, which was then covered in sheets of elm bark. Inside, a central aisle with shared fires ran down the length of the building, with separate family compartments on either side. The architecture directly reflected their communal, clan-based social structure. Tipi. The tipi is the iconic dwelling of nomadic plains nations. Its design is a masterpiece of mobile architecture, engineered to be quickly assembled and disassembled to follow the bison herds. The cone shape is incredibly stable against strong prairie winds, while adjustable smoke flaps at the top provide ventilation for an internal fire. The covering, traditionally made of stitched bison hides, was both waterproof and insulating. The tipi's design is a direct response to a life of mobility on the Great Plains. Earthen Mound. The ancient peoples of the Mississippi River Valley built vast cities with enormous earthen mounds at their center. At Cahokia, near modern St. Louis, they constructed hundreds of these mounds by hand, moving millions of cubic feet of earth. The largest, known as Monk's Mound, was a massive, flat-topped pyramid that served as the political and religious heart of the city. These structures were not tombs, but platforms for temples, council houses, and the homes of elite leaders, demonstrating incredible social organization and engineering skill. Chickee. The Chickee is a structure perfectly adapted to the hot, swampy environment of Florida. Developed by the Seminole and Miccosukee people, it consists of a thick thatched roof made from palmetto leaves supported by cypress log posts. The key feature is that it has no walls, allowing for maximum air circulation to keep the interior cool. It also has a raised wooden floor to keep the living space dry from the damp ground. Its simple, open design is a direct and intelligent response to its climate. Pueblo. The ancestral Pueblo and peoples of the Southwest created sophisticated multi-story apartment complexes from stone and adobe mud. Locations like Chaco Canyon and Mesa Verde showcase this style. The buildings were often oriented to take advantage of the sun for passive heating in the winter, and were designed with thick walls to keep them cool in the summer. Many were built into cliff alcoves for defense and protection from the elements. This architecture shows a deep understanding of sustainable design and community planning. Hogan. The Hogan is the traditional home of the Diné, or Navajo people. There are different types, but the classic Hogan is a circular or six-sided structure. The doorway always faces east to greet the morning sun. Traditionally, they were built with a wooden frame and packed with earth, making them well insulated in both hot and cold weather. The Hogan is more than a shelter. It is a sacred space, and its construction and layout are tied to Navajo cosmology and philosophy. Mayan Temple. The ancient Maya of Mesoamerica built incredible stone cities with temple pyramids at their center. These were not true pyramids, but stepped platforms made of cut limestone, with a small temple structure at the very top. These were not tombs, but ceremonial stages used for religious rituals. Mayan architects were expert mathematicians and astronomers, and many of their buildings are precisely aligned to track the sun, moon, and stars throughout the year. Incan Stonework. The architecture of the Inca Empire is famous for one thing above all else: its incredible stone masonry. At sites like Machu Picchu and Cusco, the Inca cut massive stones so precisely that they fit together perfectly without any mortar. This technique, called ashlar masonry, created walls that were remarkably stable and able to withstand the frequent earthquakes of the Andes region. The architecture demonstrates an unparalleled level of craftsmanship and engineering skill. Shabono. The Yanomami people of the Amazon rainforest live in a large, circular communal dwelling called a shabono. It's a single, continuous structure made from wood and thatched palm leaves, with a large open plaza in the center. Each family has its own section under the shared roof. The shabono is not permanent. Because of the humid climate and insects, it is abandoned, and a new one is built every few years. Its design fosters a deeply communal lifestyle and is built entirely from materials found in the surrounding forest. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, consider liking and subscribing for more content. Let us know in the comments what type of architecture you would like to see explained next.